So Mary, Rabbi Furst, um, what is this? Chavos Halavavos, Heshbon Hanefesh.
Exactly. Thank you, Lou. And as Lou mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo First here at Yeshiva Tamanavshi, here at Zoom. And we're learning, as you mentioned, Shar Cheshbon Nefesh in the Sefer Chavos Halavavos. And let's just do a review of what we did yesterday. Um, yeah, Rishon. Let's just review Rishon. And then what we're gonna try and do now, after we review this, we're gonna try and do this with each and one of the Heshbonas of the 30. We want to try and find places, particularly within the davening, or particularly maybe things that we do during the course of a day, where we can try and focus on these things, even if it's just for a split moment. But as the Mechaber is telling us, you got to think about these things constantly for them to sink in. And the more they sink in, the more you're going to get the benefits from them. So let's review uh, the first one, Rishon. Who would like to read? Ramer or Lou, who was really interested in reading it this morning?
Okay, I'll read.
Okay.
Um, let's see, Harishon, Kish Yis Tachol Hadam B'inyan Atzmo V'yachshav B'tchilas Hayuso V'yitz'i aso Malo Mitziah al Mitziah. First, pay attention. A person should pay attention to himself.
Well, kistakala onam the Indian atzmo. When a person um literally his stakla is like to peer into himself. He should peer into himself.
And he should think uh, initially uh, what is chayuso?
His his existence. Hayuso, right? Yiviyakshiv betchilas hayus. He should give thought to the beginning, is the origin of his existence. He should give thought to the origin of his existence.
Of his existence,
Yeah, hayus, his
uh,
existence.
that he exists from not existing to
Right.
existing.
Right. So, you had that famous statement. I think, therefore I exist. Right.
I think therefore
So,
I am. Yes,
excuse me. What?
I think therefore I am.
Oh, okay. So when he's not thinking, he's not around anymore, right?
Yeah,
So,
he's in
so he,
abeyance.
yeah, he didn't think about that, did he? Anyway, so the point being that we're much more than our thoughts. Don't think that you're your thoughts, but we'll get to that a little maybe another time about what the thoughts of. We discussed that a few days ago, that the thoughts of a person, the way his thought patterns, the things he occupies his mind with, these are very important things, and he has to perfect it, right? That's that what we talked about, a person training himself to think. And that's what these different different cheshbonos are really designed to do to train a person to think. Because without, as we said at the very beginning, without a person training himself to think, like it's like we mentioned in the terms of the muscle, person never trained himself to breathe properly. So you're not going to become an Olympic swimmer if you haven't trained yourself to breathe properly. You're not going to become an opera star if you haven't trained yourself to breathe properly. You're not going to become right a marathon runner if you haven't trained yourself to breathe properly, because breathing properly is very crucial to the success of those endeavors, right? So training yourself to think, right? Believe it or not, training yourself to think is crucial to your spiritual success. Okay? That training yourself to think properly and about the things you're supposed to think, that's very crucial to your spiritual success. Therefore, it's very important to practice and um, perfect these ways of thinking. And as he said, he's only giving you 30, but there are really many, many other ones that you can do as well. And um, you want to expand on them if you can. So here, the first thing is he's supposed to give thought to his origins of his existence, right? The origins of his existence. Okay, and he continues on a bit.
Beha tiksu may ain liesh, and he was transformed from nothing to something. Lilo
Right.
yisron shekedem lo. And he, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Lo Yisron Kedemo. There was no uh,
Hello?
preceding. There was nothing preceding his existence that
Please.
required him to be existed. Right? That you think, just for example, Mayor, you think there are billions of people, right? There are billions of people.
Right.
So Curtis Borg didn't have to create you or me. What do I have to be created for? There are a billion other peoples, even if you want to narrow it down, Jews. All right, so there are 10, 15 million Jews. So that's a lot of people. So why did I have to be created? Yeah. There's no particular necessity in me being created.
Mhm.
So first thing is that it was created from absolute nothing. Second of all, there was no necessity. There was no necessity of his being created.
Right. Hi, sorry about that. I'm dealing with a little bit of a family crisis, so I had to take that call.
Okay, Bez Hashem should work out the
Oh man.
pray. Okay. Um, so what we just the lo yisron shekodem lo, right? What does it mean? Lo yisron kodem lo. There was no previous necessity for him to be created, right? Like, okay, like I just mentioned to Mayor, Lou, there are billions of people in the world, right?
Right.
So, that's a lot of that's quite a lot of people. So there's no particular necessity for me or you particularly to be created, right?
Right.
Even if you say, well, Jews, okay, Jews. So, all right, there what, 15, 20 million Jews in the world. That's also quite a lot of people, right? No, no particular necessity for me to be created. A lot of Jews around. So, first of all, he was created from absolute nothingness. Second of all, right, there was no preceding necessity for him to be created.
Right.
Okay.
Ach chesed Elokim v'tovo v'nidavaso. It's only from the kindness of God and the goodness and his goodness and his generosity. Vayirah b'shekulo. Um, let's see. Vayirah is awesome. Uh,
That
Shekulo, all of it.
so it says that Ach Chesed Elokim B'tovo V'nidvaso, meaning rather he was created out of the uh, kindness of Hashem and his in his goodness and his generosity. Okay.
Right,
Now that's the main point. Now he goes in and he goes in and explains V'yara b'sichlu, meaning he should he should imagine the following, right? Now, um, before that, since we're just speaking about the primary thing you're supposed to think about. So where this is what we're going to try and do throughout. Where throughout the davening, and there may be more than one place. Where throughout the davening can we perhaps think about this and put it in, plug it into our daily life. Like there's a very profound thought that you're supposed to think about. They were created from nothingness, and it was all through a Kadosh Baruch Hu's chesed, right? So, uh, so what I like to do is when you in the davening, if you have a sitter nearby, I'll show you. So after after just at the very beginning of Sukkot de Zimra. So you have at the beginning of Pesukei de Zimra, Mizmor Shir Hanukkah Sabayis LeDavid. Okay, that's number one. And then after that you have Baruch Sha'amar, right?
Brook Shamar, yeah.
Right. So Baruch Sha'amar B'Hayo Olam Baruch Hu Baruch Osem Bereshis. Right. So you have these statements here, which are references to Hakadosh Baruch Hu's creating the universe, all of existence, Yesh Ayin, through his command that the world and universe exists. Right.
Right.
So, provided I have a little extra time, few seconds here and there, I like to think about this Heshbon and Nefesh when I'm saying this too. I mean, it wasn't simply the whole universe that was created Yesh Mi'ayin, but I also was created Yesh Mi'ayin from nothingness. And it's all through the Chesed of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So I
Uh,
try and utilize when I'm saying this Baruch Sha'amar, I try and utilize this as a point in time during the course of my day when I think about, at least even just momentarily, this first Cheshbon Nefesh.
Right.
And we're going to try and do this throughout the 30 of them. We're going to try and relate each one of the 30 uh, Cheshbonas to things we can create reference points somehow during the course of our day to these points that we're supposed to be thinking about. Obviously, if you can do it in more and in better ways, the more you do it, the better it's going to be, and more benefits you're going to get from it. But in any event, at least to give it some very slight, if that's the minimum we can do. So I think this is a good place to insert the thoughts that Hashem not only created the whole universe, all of existence, yesh ayin, right? But also, each individual person was also, in his own particular life, was created similarly, yesh ayin. Okay. Rob Sichlo, he should now, let's continue on. He should imagine.
He should imagine he who chashuv be'einenu the nasa b'midrash b'midrashto
Madregaso.
b'madregaso
Right, from the word madrega.
Madrega level. Umeola b'misko naso min ha behema v'ha tzemach v'ha motzak. So let's see. Because he thinks of the aspects of his elevated level and the elevation of his I don't know this word, bemis kon to.
Right, that he should chashav be'inyanoi, he should consider his activities. A person should consider his activities. Okay? Chashav be'inyanoi, he should consider his activities in the things he's occupied in life. Number one, he should consider those things he's occupied with in life. Number one. Number two, v'nasa b'madreko, and his elevated status. Elevated status. Number two, u'ula b'maskunusoi, and the advantage of his form. The advantage of his form.
From the animal, so in other words, his form is better than the form of an animal. V'hatzemach v'hamutzach. I don't know.
So tzemach is plants,
And plants.
or vegetation, if you like vegetation. And mutzak is like inanimate objects.
Animals, plants, and minerals.
Good, very good. Now
that's interesting because it seems to me that the form of an animal is superior to the form of a person.
right. In what way?
Well, I remember when I used to go skiing, I'd get up early in the morning, and I'd get dressed and I'd look out the window and I would see the birds and I would think, that's absolutely amazing. They have no protection. They have no clothing. they're out there flying around. It's well below freezing, and there they are, happy. They're content. They got their feathers. They got their insulation, and they're functioning fine in weather that if I was out there for 5 minutes, I'd be dead.
Right. Now, I forgot. I'm not sure. Are birds cold-blooded or warm-blooded?
Warm-blooded.
They have to be warm-blooded.
So,
The same thing with the other animals. I mean, they function fine. They can run faster. They can fight better. Uh, their bodies are much better suited to the environment than a humans.
so, so to address the point you're you're raising, which is a good point, I think first of all that the form the form that that he's really referring to is that a person he stands erect, he walks on 2 feet, stands erect, with his head elevated, right? And his eyes therefore are directed towards the Shemayim, right? Towards Shemayim. Whereas animals, those who walk on fours, their heads are primarily cast downward towards the earth, right? Um, that could be one thing. Another thing is, now I forgot, I'm not sure. I know there is a difference. There is a difference with animals, like animals that they have their eyes on 2 sides of their head, whereas we have our eyes on the same side of our head. There is some type of a difference between their perspective in the world that they witness around themselves. I've forgotten exactly what it is.
Uh,
Um, um, but there might be an advantage in that. Um, it's true that as because I'll say, well, the lion is stronger, the the deer is faster, the eagle flies.
right?
So there are individual advantages that different species have, perhaps over man. But the balance, but those are because those are things are all everything's out of balance. And an elephant is tremendously large and strong. But the fact that it's so large and strong, that's an extreme, which gives it a certain advantage, but there are also certain non-advantages to it.
Right.
So when you look into the overall advantages of everything, even though we may not be the fastest, we may not be the strongest, but overall in balance, the balance is optimal and it's most pronounced, and the advantages of everything are most pronounced when it comes to our form, the way we were formed. Eating, we can't swim like fish, but we can swim, right? We can't run like a deer, but we can run. We're not as strong as a lion, but we can we can maybe outsmart a lion because we have intelligence. right? So it's true if you just look at particular instances, it may be that there are certain advantages, and certainly that's when you're dealing with the animal world. But if you go into the to the to the vegetation, so but you're gonna okay, we're not as tall as trees, but like you know, how'd you like to be a tree for the rest for the total time you're in the existence? Not you kind of go crazy after the first 2 hours, no?
Probably in 2 minutes. But still, the form, if we're just looking at the form of the tree, um, the tree can stand there for many, many years and withstand the cold and the wind and the rain and the sleet and the hail and everything else. Its form has a lot to be spoken for.
Right, but
I mean, are we considering the brain as part of the form?
possibly, maybe, I'm not sure. 1 minute. Just let me check something here. Mm, okay. Um, so you should think of the advantages that he has over the other elements of the world he lives in. I mean, so even though, as I said, it could be that in particular aspects, there are those creatures which have more advantages over us, but bearing in mind that the general balance of all possibilities, we should we should come to a satisfaction and a sense of gratefulness that we're created the way we are, you know, rather than in the form of an animal or a plant or a mineral. Okay.
Um, let's go weiter. Yischayev lehodos levoro yisparach. We're obligated to be thankful to for the creation of by Hashem.
This is the main point, right? This is the main point that don't forget the name of the sefer is Halavavos, right?
Right,
It's the duty literally. I mean, it's translated loosely the um the duties of the heart, right?
right.
And being thankful, first of all, you have to realize it. And then after you realize it, then you're obligated to thank Kadosh Baruch Hu for creating you as you are. Okay.
See, I would state it differently. I wouldn't mention the form. I would say, the form notwithstanding, um, we have the advantages of our heart, our ability to think and reason and our emotions. That's where we surpass the animals, not in terms of our form.
Um, Well, I mean, no, I mean, the obviously the form is the way every, all the strength of the animals, the endurance of the trees, that all comes as a result of the way they're formed.
Right. Which is not where we excel. But that's not so important. Like you said,
Again,
we can think.
the point is we do excel, but when you take the complete balance of everything, we are superior to everything else. Any particular aspect, it could be that certain creatures are more superior in certain aspects than us. But that superiority um, is not the ultimate benefit, meaning what the lion surpasses the other animals in, and what the ox is superior to the other animals. So it's not ultimately superior, right? All the animals, the lion is the king of the beast, but you don't see him taking over the place, right?
Except in the Lion King.
Yes.
Right.
So,
The animals don't have the thought process. They don't have societies. They don't have cooperation.
so that we're going to get to those points later on as well. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Let's continue a little bit more.
The Imshal Bezeh Mashal Karov. Um, this is a parable that's close to us.
This is like he's going to now um, bring a an example, a mashal, a dugma, um, which will like illustrate this.
Okay. Uh, Ya'aleh b'mach shavoso. He elevates his thoughts.
Yeah, that'll it will it'll focus it in your it'll focus your thoughts on this.
Oh, think about this. Focus your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Elu be'es yin kono ha shalichuso imo b'masela. Um, these times, uh, what's yin kano?
If Eula means if the ace Yinukosai, if at the time when he was an infant.
Uh, Hashlichaso imo b'masela. His mother gave him something.
So if at the time when he was an infant, Hashlichaso, his literally his mother would throw him in Misela, if his mother would have cast him into the street.
Into the street. Ve'avad Adam echad v'roi oso b'chamal alav v'asaf oso el beso v'nitfal b'gidolo. If she cast him into the street and he was found by a person who saw him and had mercy on him and gathered him uh, to his house and raised him to adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
ad asher gadal v'haskil, until he was grown and he was able to think.
Yeah, until he Yizgal, he matured and became intelligent.
Heach he chayav l'rutz l'ritzono v'chol asher yatso hu bo v'yizharehu mimenu. How uh, how he would be obligated to go out uh, by his desire and all that. What is Yatsohu?
That's that's his tzivo, his commands. It's a vohu.
And all that his commands uh V'yiz hi rahu mimenu, to be concerned about it, about himself.
About menu from him, meaning he should be would be he should be um cautious about him. Meaning he should be cautious in how he behaves with this person.
V'kama hu chayev lo min hachovos, and how much he would be obligated to him from what is hachovos?
That's obligation. Yeah, chovos is more yeah. Kama he chayev lo min chovos. How 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 much of an obligation he has um kama hu chayev lo, how much he's obligated to him from amongst the from many obligations.
From
He does he not have many obligations to fulfill for this person?
ukafi haganas ha bore alav v'hasif kaso v'chol a nenav inyanav. Uh, and because of uh, what is haganas?
Right. That, excuse me. That Kafi Haganas Haboire, according to the protection of Haboire, according to the protection of our Creator upon us or him.
Okay, and the next word, hasfikato, and the doubt, his doubt.
Well, here safeka is the sustenance, right? Right, and his sustaining us. The call in Yanav and throughout all our activities. Hashem sustains us throughout all our activities.
Tarich sheyiyeh hamishko achar avodaso ukivolo mitzutso. He needs to be drawn after his service, and he receives his commandments.
Right, that meaning according kafi, the going back the beginning of the sentence, ukafi according to the haganas haboire love, according to the protection that Hashem provides for him, v'hasvikasoi, and his sustaining him, the call throughout all his activities, chork shiyeh hamshocho acher avodasoi, so in that proportion of all those things Hashem is doing for him, he needs proportionately to be drawn, literally, hamshicho acher avodos, to be drawn after serving him, v'kablu mitzvos, and accept his commandments.
Ukavar hochiach hanivra hanavia ha'oma be'inyan hazeh ba'amru. And after what's hochiach?
After this is proven, meaning when a person has thought about this and come to these realizations, and then now it's proven to him all these things.
And what's hanavia?
Oh, that's the Hanavi is literally prophet, the prophet. Meaning, I think he's referring to this. This is a pasuk. This is a pasuk. This is a pasuk in Devarim, I think. Yeah, correct, Mayor? I think this is a pasuk
Yeah,
in
it's
Devarim.
Devarim 32:6, it looks like.
Right. So that's a reference to Moshe Rabbeinu, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So it's proven through the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu, who said, "Ha Lashem to tigmalo zos im naval velo hacham v'gomer." And for Hashem, what's tigmalo?
Tigmalozus. That's a let's take a look at the pasuk inside how they translate it. I don't want to.
32.
Devarim 32.
Yeah, I just 32:6, I believe.
Thank you, man.
I'll just double check.
is that Parshat for Hazino, I think, the beginning of Parshat
Yeah,
Hazino?
yes, yes. Hello, who? Hold it. Let's see. Olu Tiglalu. Oh, yeah. 32:6. It's Hala Hashem. That's what that Hey Lamed Yud Yud is. I guess it's
Right.
poetic.
Yeah.
Hashem tigmulu zos im naval velo chacham. So it says, it is to Hashem that you repay this, O people, vile and unwise,
Hmm.
vile and not wise. So what is this? What's the point here?
That
It's proven by Moshe's prophecy that we are vile and unwise.
well, because that you need to see the rest of the pasuk there. We'll go to the end of the pasuk.
Okay. Is he not your father, your acquirer? He made you and established you. Remember the days of old, understand the years of generation after generation. Ask your father, and he will relate it to you, your elders, and they will tell you. When the Supreme One gave nations their portion, when he separated the children of man, he set the borders of peoples according to the number of the children of Israel.
Hmm.
So in other words, we don't appreciate all of this stuff.
That's right. That's Am Navu V'lo Chacham. Yeah. Yeah, this for not realizing this, not giving thought to this, despicable. You're despicable and unwise. Hashem has done all these things. Kadosh Baruch has done all these things for you. You don't take a minute to realize that. You don't take a minute to thank Kadosh Baruch Hu for all that. What is this? Despicable. This is despicable.
Right,
I know it's not nice to hear, but have to hear the truth sooner or later, no?
right. So in other words, Hashem does all this good stuff for us, and we don't appreciate it.
That's right. That's pretty bad.
Hmm.
Okay, let's just finish up one. And he brings another pasuk, Er Yeheskel, and the prophet Yeheskel also says in the parak in his nevuah, in his prophecy.
Uve'er Yeheskel beperek ve'avor alecha ve'arach mishvo sasas b'demayich ushar ha'inyan. So it says in Yecheskel, I don't know. I don't know this sentence.
Right. This we read in the Haggadah. This is a pasuk from the Haggadah Shal Pesach. It's included in the Haggadah Shal Pesach, right?
Uh-huh.
War Malayik. Eric, 1 second. Let me try him.
What's it say? Sha'ar. I have 4.
Excuse me a second.
Yeah.
I'm actually just finishing. Can you hold on for a second?
Yeah, that's a
But I
that's a
will
in
pass.
Perik Tez Zion Pasuk Vav. Yeheskel. Tez Zion. That's in
I
16
have 4.
Pasuk Vav.
I'll pass over you, and I will see mitboseset.
Right. Right. The avur alike, meaning I passed by you. Avur
Right.
alike, avur is to pass alike. I passed by you.
Uh-huh.
Erech, I saw you. B'somvaseses b'damayich, and you were wallowing in your blood. You were wallowing in your blood.
Oh,
So, so you can learn that with a positive note, and you can learn it with a negative note. With a
right.
positive note. That's what we say in the Haggadah Pesach. But the Ma'achi, we were in the blood of the Bris Milah. We were in the blood of the Korban Pesach.
Right.
Positive note. The negative note is that those were the only 2 mitzvahs that we really had. That we were really at the lowest, very lowest level that we could possibly have gotten to. And those are the only 2 mitzvahs. Hashem had to give us those mitzvahs that would have as a chus, a merit of some mitzvahs to take us out of Mitzrayim.
Right.
And in spite of the fact that we were on such a low level, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not ignore us, did not forsake us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was kind to us, benevolent to us, and nevertheless he helped us and took us up out of Mitzrayim. Okay, very good. So
Thank you,
let's hold
Rabbi.
here. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
hold here for take a
Yeah.
break, and we'll
Okay.
learn Mr. Brewer shortly coming up.
See you in a few minutes.
Okay.